I love food. Besides food, I have a huge passion for culture as well. So whenever I go to a restaurant, I pay close attention to the food and the people's behavior. I used to live in the US and now I'm back in Vietnam, and I found some interesting cultural differences between Vietnamese restaurants in Vietnam and Vietnamese restaurants in the US. So today I would like to share with you those differences, so maybe you'll learn some more about Vietnamese insights and it can help you prepare when visiting Vietnam in the future. In Vietnam, each restaurant serves its own specialties. So for example, if you want pho, you would go to a specific restaurant that they serve pho. And if you want rice, you would go to a different restaurant. Unlike Vietnamese restaurants in the US where you can find so many Vietnamese dishes from different regions, like you can find pho, bún bò Huế, and cơm tấm at the same time, it's very rare in Vietnam that you can find a restaurant that has the combination of all Vietnamese dishes like that. Except it's buffet or it's high-end restaurants that mainly serve tourists. Another interesting thing that I found when I first moved to Vietnam is that the chef is usually up front. Usually in the US, the chef in the kitchen would be hidden from the customers, right? But in Vietnam, the chef is just like cooking and then like asking the new customers when they come in. And I found out it's pretty cool because you can see how your food is being prepared. So have you ever noticed in a Vietnamese restaurant in the US, Vietnamese customers usually just seat themselves or they even order before getting seated? Hi, how many people? Just one please. Okay ma'am, right this way. Dạ xin chào, mình đi. Chị ngồi đây luôn nhá, cho chị như mọi khi luôn nhá. I found it pretty fascinating because I understand the reason why. The reason is because, like I said earlier, each restaurant will serve specific food. So usually Vietnamese people know what they want beforehand, before they come into the restaurant. And especially Vietnamese people are very loyal when it comes to food. So they know what they want all the time. And the third reason is that Vietnamese people usually bring their whole family or their friends to come to the Vietnamese restaurants. They usually come and eat, so that's why they needed to order right away, so they don't have to wait for the food too long because they just have so many people. So I've heard a lot of people said that Vietnamese waiters are so impatient because they would stand there and wait for you until you make an order. Here's the menu. Thank you. I'll take number one. And an orange juice, please. Sure. Một phở bò tài xỉu với một ly nước cam không đá không đường nhá. Do you need anything else? The reason why Vietnamese people have that behavior is because usually Vietnamese customers would know what they want before coming in the restaurant. So the ordering process would happen faster. Plus, in a Vietnamese restaurant, an employee will wear so many hats. So for example, he or she has to take an order, and after that, they have to prepare some condiments and maybe even have to pack inside and have to bring out the food. So they just multitask a lot. And the reason why they take orders so fast is that they want to finish one task before they can move on the next task. Please don't be hurried, just take your time because Vietnamese people know that you are new to the restaurant, and if you have any questions you want to ask about some recommendations, just don't hesitate to ask the waiter or waitress. I bet he or she will be happy to assist you. One more tip before going into a Vietnamese restaurant in Vietnam is that you can do some research, look at the picture of the food to see if that's what you really want, and just read some ingredients because sometimes it has peanuts or fish sauce in there if you are allergic to peanuts or vegetarian. So yeah, just do your research before going into a restaurant so it can save you a lot of time. And it can save the waiter a lot of time as well. In America, slurping is considered rude and sometimes uneducated. But in Vietnam, slurping is totally acceptable because Vietnamese people eat a lot of noodles and it's so hard to not to slurp, right? When you go into a restaurant, everyone slurps and it's like a a slurping orchestra, and your slurping wouldn't be noticeable. So yeah, you're allowed to slurp in Vietnam. So in Vietnam, it's quite hard to get the server's attention because, like I said earlier, they're wearing multiple hats. But when I was in the US, I was quite shocked seeing the servers came and asked me if the food was okay and if I needed anything. However, in Vietnam, asking questions while the customers are eating is considered rude. So next time when you come to a Vietnamese restaurant, either in Vietnam or in the US, just pay attention to the Vietnamese customers because the server won't ask the Vietnamese customers too many questions because they understand the culture. So yeah, to get the waiter's attention in Vietnam, it's quite hard, but I'm gonna show you how to get their attention now. You wouldn't say, excuse me. Instead, you would raise your hand like this and you say, em ơi, em ơi. Yeah, it's a sweet way for Vietnamese people to say, excuse me dear or excuse me sweetheart. And the word ơi, it's very endearing in Vietnamese. So I noticed after eating, American people usually use a dental floss to clean their teeth, but Vietnamese people, we would use toothpicks. And what Vietnamese people usually do is that they would have the toothpick and then just cover their mouth and just like clean it. You know, they wouldn't do it like this. They would like cover their mouth and then just clean their teeth with a toothpick. So I found it pretty interesting culture that we have. If you want to cash out, you don't just sit there and wait for the waiter to bring you a bill. You would actually come up to the counter and then ask how much, and then you can pay up there. And this can apply to Vietnamese restaurants in the US and Vietnamese restaurants in Vietnam as well. Or if you want to pay at your table and you want to grab the waiter's attention, you would say, em ơi, tính tiền, tính tiền. So that means, hey, can you bring me a bill? This is the part that I found the most interesting. Asian, especially Vietnamese people, fight to pay. No. This is a real deal. It's about the saving face culture. It's like showing your ego, showing your pride. You want to show that you are generous, considerate, you can provide. For example, if you introduce your boyfriend to, especially boyfriend though, it doesn't apply to girl when it comes to paying. So for example, if you want to introduce your boyfriend to your Asian family, the boyfriend's supposed to fight with the father to pay for the whole family because it will show that he has the ability to take care of their daughter and he can be a provider. Businesses is like an inside track to favors. So for example, if I want to ask a person for a favor, I would invite that person out and pay for his or her dinner or lunch. So next time when I need help from that person, it would be more likely for that person to help me. I'll pay for your dinner, you'll help me back next time. I was quite surprised when people serve fortune cookies at Chinese and Vietnamese restaurants in the US, but fortune cookies don't exist in China and Vietnam. Actually, fortune cookies were originated from Japan and they were produced in California. So next time when you come to Asia, especially China and Vietnam, don't expect fortune cookies because we just don't have them. Last but not least, you don't need to tip in Vietnam because we don't have tipping culture. But if you really appreciate your waiter or waitress, you can definitely give them the tip. Don't leave the tip on the table though, because it's not very common in Vietnam and somebody might steal it. And don't give the tip to the owner as well. Just give it directly to the person who just served you. Those are the differences between Vietnamese restaurants in the US and Vietnamese restaurants in Vietnam. So I hope you have learned something new today, and next time when you visit Vietnam, you can be like a pro, you know? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put it down in the comments below. Show me your love by dropping a like, subscribe to my channel, share it to your friends so they know too. Alright, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!